Welcome to the Around the World presentation. We're going to take you on a quick tour of some of the ways FME has been used in this past year. I'm Richard Mosley, and I'm an expert on the FME server team.
Hi, I'm Dara Broderick, and I'm an expert on the FME desktop team.
We selected these presentations to inspire you to take on similar data challenges within your organization, to find new ways that you can innovate with your data and get more out of your current technology stack. FME is an entire enterprise integration platform, and there are infinite ways to leverage it across your organization. We hope this gives you a small taste of what is possible. The first story comes from local government, North Ayrshire Council in Scotland. They used FME to streamline their human resource operations in a great example of cross-team data sharing. This story starts with a lot of data, like many stories do. North Ayrshire Council has a workforce of around 8,000 employees, and managing that amount of people is a huge operational undertaking. From the time someone is first hired to the time they retire or move jobs, there are a lot of important processes involved. From allocating equipment, issuing technical licenses, granting security access, and updating staff directories. These processes also involve many different departments and depend on easy communication between them to make sure everyone's responsibilities are being met. This is where North Ayrshire saw an opportunity. They felt that this HR information was not flowing across the company as efficiently as it could be. They wanted to centralize and enrich their existing data sets, not only to streamline the process, but to deliver more value to its employees. It was important for them that they could reduce the amount of paperwork involved with each employee, and that their central database could link to other management applications like Microsoft Office and Salesforce. It was also essential that whatever this new system would be, that it would not rely on coding, as they wanted it to be as agile and flexible as the surrounding technology changes. North Ayrshire had previously used FME for spatial data integration, and knew its automation capabilities could be transferred to manage non-spatial data as well. They worked with OneSpatial, one of Safe Software's partners, who provided them with FME licenses and private training to support their initial stages of the project. Instead of Python, they used FME's no-code interface to set up an automated process. Now, when an event occurs, such as a new hire, FME automatically triggers certain actions like communications or data updates. They found that these automations effectively reduced any security risk and provided accurate and consistent data to the council. Now they're able to track their changes and maintain it hands-free. With FME, North Ayrshire increased their operational efficiency and ultimately reduced costs and administrative tasks through better license management. The transparent data also offers greater insight to the council's processes. They're using it to drive improvements in services. Lastly, their no-code GUI-based solution makes updating and maintaining this process easy so it can grow with them. Now we're going to travel between America and England with this story from IHS Markit, who migrated huge amounts of data into the cloud. IHS Markit is an American-British service provider that uses data integration to bring their clients new intelligence and insight for their industries and markets. They use data to isolate risk and opportunity in new ways that empower the customers to make well-informed decisions with confidence. They have 50,000 customers in over 140 countries, 80% of which are Fortune Global 500. IHS clearly understands that making decisions out of data is key to the success for their clients and their own business. And when you're talking about 50,000 customers that depend on multiple formats of data, you're talking about a lot of data. 1.5 billion rows to be exact. And they decided they wanted to move this data from their current platform, Denodo, into a cloud service provider, which in this case was Snowflake. Their staff uses data for business intelligence, so maintaining data quality was critical. They wanted to be conscious of costs to migrate all that data and didn't want to pay for extra when the data wasn't actively being moved. Lastly, they needed a fast turnaround because their staff and clients depended on this data. IHS chose FME Server to do this migration. They were able to quickly deploy it on Kubernetes. They used CPU time pricing that is available with FME Server, which meant they had the ability to spin up multiple engines to enable parallel processing. This allowed them to keep costs low by only paying for the number of processing hours used. In this case, it took them 5 hours to complete the migration of 1.5 billion rows to Snowflake. FME's Snowflake Ready status made it the perfect tool for the job, as the pre-built readers and writers allowed the team to load their data into Snowflake with just a few clicks. This case highlights how deployments like FME Server on Kubernetes and tools like CPU pricing can allow FME to quickly scale to meet any need. My colleague Dara is going to show us a few more examples of how FME has helped us over this last year.
Thanks, Richard. This next story takes us to Poland, where Visamind helped the Polish power grids get a detailed overview of their utility assets. A big thank you to Globima for submitting their story. Visamind Group is actually headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden. They were founded in 1997, and they specialize in detecting risks and monitoring and documenting utility infrastructure. They were tasked with a project for the Polish power grids, or PSE, that required collecting data for thousands of kilometers of power lines and over 100 power stations. It was important to PSE that they could be able to view all their assets in extreme detail so they could be better informed in decision making and in safety. Visamind wanted to deliver back to PSE a variety of products. These products would allow PSE to see all their data and assets in various levels of detail, empowering them to make better decisions. But producing these products came with some challenges. There was a massive amount of data to deliver, 10 terabytes of spatial and non-spatial data. They also needed to provide specific data delivery structures such as point clouds, digital terrain models, digital surface models, and orthophoto maps. Visamind also knew that the data would be more valuable if it was integrated into a geospatial database that provided detailed inventory of roads, buildings, power lines, electric equipment, and more. It was a lot of data to collect and integrate in a short amount of time. So how did they do it? Visamind needed a data integration software that could handle multiple spatial and non-spatial formats, could speed up processing, could offer scalability and automation, could be used by non-programmers, and could do it all while prioritizing data quality. Data quality and detail was hugely important to PSE, as poor data quality can become a safety concern for utilities. After researching data integration tools, they turned to FME. Knowing it was the best for spatial data integration, involved no code, and was the only product they found that could meet their multitude of requirements. They acquired FME through the official distributor of the FME platform in Poland, which is Globima. And Globima helped them with FME training that allowed them to quickly implement FME across their whole team. Using FME, they applied full automation to reduce the working time of their processes for their spatial products. Not only were they able to deliver everything, they were able to do it a lot faster than they could have without FME. The orthophoto map completed in 25 hours instead of 800, which is 32 times faster. Checking photo completeness happened in 5 hours instead of 150, 50 times faster, and they were able to convert and harmonize data and import it into their geospatial database, achieving the high accuracy and detail they required. Our last story comes from Norway, where FME was used in developing a geographical tool that assisted healthcare workers in their response to COVID-19. In 2020, the Central Norway Regional Health Authority was in the same position as the rest of the world, watching COVID-19 rapidly progress and racing to respond. What Central Norway realized was the progression of COVID-19 had a major geographical impact, and hospitals have data that constantly changes regarding new patients and patients in intensive care. They needed to ensure that everyone understood the situation and that the data available to them was used to help make better decisions and allocate resources accordingly. So essentially, what they really wanted was to become data-driven to help them better serve the region. They recognized the potential of data associated with COVID-19, and they wanted to use it to become better prepared. In partnership with hospitals, they decided that they wanted to use geographical data to create a forecasting tool that could estimate outbreak locations, the current number of hospital patients, and give a prognosis for new hospital patients, including those requiring intensive care. They used FME to develop a dashboard that displayed all their desired information on a map. FME is used to continuously integrate updated COVID-19 data between several APIs provided by health authorities and ArcGIS online services running behind the dashboard. The workspaces developed run every day to update the ArcGIS online service with updated information. FME made it quick and easy to develop the integration between different APIs and the ArcGIS online services. The solution is easy to maintain and run smoothly. Best of all, health authorities now have a better basis for planning where and how to allocate resources in the Central Norway region, which in turn helps to save lives. And that wraps up our trip around the world today. We got some interesting use cases from centralizing HR data to creating geospatial databases to migrating huge amounts of data and even using data to make life-saving decisions. What all these stories had in common was that sometimes you don't know how you're going to get there, you just know where you want to go. And each of these companies started with a vision. They knew where they wanted to go, which led them to finding a tool and resources to help them get there. So that's the question we want to leave you with today. Where is your dream destination? What would make your job easier? What information could help you make better decisions? What applications do you wish worked together? It starts with asking these questions. You don't need to know exactly how you're going to get there because that's where FME comes in. FME is such a versatile tool from everything to geospatial data and beyond, and it can take you wherever you need to go. There are a ton of resources available to you to help you along the way. Several of these stories use FME partners to help them with consulting, onboarding, and FME training. This is a great way to get started with FME. No matter where you're located, you can check out the list of partners at safe.com/partners. We also have an incredibly knowledgeable FME community. There are over 19,000 members who are achieving amazing results with FME every day, and they are very generous with their knowledge and skill sharing. You can join the community at safe.com/community, and you can also find the FME Academy there, which is a totally free way to learn the basics of data integration and geospatial data. And another one is to just simply reach out to us on live chat and say, hey, I want to be able to do this for my organization. Can you help me? We have real experts on the line who can help you get started. Finally, here are 3 steps you can do to get your FME journey started today. Sign up for emails. You can subscribe to emails at any page on our website, safe.com. Take part in an upcoming FME Accelerator course, which is a 90-minute course that will get you up and running with FME. And download your free trial of FME today from safe.com/trial. Thank you so much for attending. If you want to get inspired with more customer stories, we have well over 100 at safe.com/customers. Thank you.